Welcome to the replay of Richmond versus the Western Bulldogs from the MCG. It's round 8 and it's right here on Fox Footy.
It's a beautiful day in Melbourne as two sides desperate for victory. The Tigers and the Bulldogs prepare for battle at the MCG. And one of those sides, the Tigers, will be without their captain, Wayne Campbell, who's a late withdrawal with injury. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the MCG. Yes, Richmond against the Western Bulldogs is going to be a fantastic battle. And as I mentioned, Wayne Campbell is out of the side just to make things a little tougher for the Tigers, but they've won their last two as Michael Christian joins us, so we're looking forward to this one.
Oh, absolutely. Should be an intriguing battle. As you said, Richmond have won their last two, but they must win today just to keep that momentum going.
Were you impressed with them last week? They got over the Swans, 13 points. It was in wet conditions, so a bit hard to read. Here they come out onto what is a beautiful MCG
It was a fantastic win. The belief and confidence they derived from their win over Hawthorn, I think, really showed last week. And they went up there, defeated the Swans on their home turf. So a great win for their confidence, but they must try and back it up today if they're going to get their season back on track. They win today, and they're 4-4 after 8 rounds and right in the mix for a top 8 spot.
Amazing turnaround, isn't it, after the trouble they were in before. They won 3 of the last 4 against the Dogs, so they'd have some confidence there. There's scores to settle as well, isn't there, Nathan Brown? I wonder how who's going to man him up today. Their coach, of course, is Danny Frawley. The pressure off a little in the last couple of weeks. Here he is with Andy Maher.
Thanks very much, Huddo. They're talking about Nathan Brown upstairs. Is he expecting it to be pretty fierce out there today for him?
Oh, look, if that's going to be their focus, we'll be up with that. We've got another 21 players out there that have contributed the last 2 weeks. If that's their focus, well, look, you don't want one of your ex-players to play well, and I'm sure they'll have my Marley's Boyd going on to him and maybe Murphy. So, look, Nathan Brown's been a quality player for us.
When was the final call made on Cambo, Danny?
6 o'clock last night. Yeah, look, the short break, that's all it is. He'll be right next week. It was line ball. He's too important player to us to risk, so we're looking forward to Dave Rodan getting his opportunity.
And 2 in a row's giving you the chance to get it back on track. How's the mood changed in the last fortnight?
Oh, well, confidence means you're going to run a little bit more. You're going to run support. I think our hardness has been the big area of improvement. And we're going to have a hard contest out here today in what is a 50-50 ball game.
Thanks for your time again. Back to you, Huddo.
Thanks, Andrew. Yes, we saw David Rodan, who's coming into the team. Here's their opponents today, the Western Bulldogs. Lost by 26 points to the Bombers last week. Well, how did you read that?
Well, they got within 10 points in the last quarter. They just couldn't quite finish it off. But they have been close a number of times this year without success. But they have, Huddo, won 5 of the last 6 against the Tigers at the MCG. So their record at this ground is extremely good.
All right, let's have a look at the lineups there. You've named Bowden at full forward. Gasper's struggling in defence at the moment.
He is, but I think he's a quality player. Richmond just need to play him at fullback and just try and run him into some sort of form.
They're sticking with him. It's going to be great to see the battle between Rawlings and Hall, who did a good job last week on Barry Hall.
Yes, he certainly did. Rawlings averaging 7.5 marks. He's been a real star and a real find up forward for the Western Bulldogs.
Johnson, obviously, the other danger man. Through the middle, speaking of Johnson, he and West, yes. 2-class centremen.
Yes, but well, Kane Johnson in the last 3 games against the Bulldogs has been best on ground twice, so certainly the Bulldogs will need to watch him very closely.
And up forward, the Tigers no doubt will rotate their big men Stafford and Ottens to support Richo.
Yes, I think they will. And Chris Grant just running into some form. 9 marks, 17 possessions last week against the Bombers. And, of course, Rowan Smith also in great form.
Certainly is. But I guess the biggest question today is how will the Bulldogs combat Matthew Richardson after 7 goals?
Well, I think Matthew Croft will get first crack. He's got the experience and the strength to match it with Matthew Richardson. But what a performance after missing 3 weeks. 7 out of 10 goals last week for the Tigers. And, gee, it's a huge challenge for Matthew Croft.
It'll have to be a team effort down there, that's for sure. The other one is who will play on Brown. Well, Danny Frawley suggested it could be Boyd and Murphy.
Yes, and I think Murphy will probably get first crack. Nathan Brown, probably Richmond's best player this year, averaging 24 disposals, so he's been in great form. And Murphy, probably the most skillful player at the Bulldogs.
To the benches then, and how they'll line up. Rodan, as we said, comes in for Campbell, Roach, Schultz and HARTIGAN. And for the Dogs, Street's going to start on the bench. Hargraver kicked 5 in the VFL last week, Faulkner for his 3rd game, and Gilby. Well, speaking of the Bulldogs, certainly they've changed their makeup this year. A lot more height, mainly with Jade Rawlings and Chris Grant returning.
And it shows in the contested marks. They were ranked last in 2003. Now they're equal fourth in contested marks, and contested marks inside 50, the equation's even better. Last year, equal first this year, and also they've increased significantly the goals they've got from marks. Jade Rawlings has been a key part in that. He ranks fourth in the AFL in contested marks inside 50, so it's a big lift.
Well, he's looking forward, I'm sure, today as we are to see how he goes against his brother-in-law.
Yes.
One at one end of the ground and one at the other. Here he is, Matthew Richardson. He's kicked 12 goals, 3 for the year, 5 goals straight, 7 goals straight, and 1 3 behinds. And the other one, of course, he went off injured early. So it'll be fascinating to see how he goes. Jade Rawlings, 18 goals, 21 for the year. Who's going to kick straight today? We'll find out in a moment when we're back here at the MCG. Almost balmy conditions in Melbourne this afternoon. 20 degrees and fine here as we get ready for the bounce of the ball between the Western Bulldogs and the Tigers. Chris Grant won the toss, and they will kick to the city end. There's Jade Rawlings. Fresh cut for the day. Stephen Silvagni's looking good as well. He's in the commentary box with us. Good afternoon, Sauce.
How are you, Huddo? Yeah, we should really be in for a fantastic day. These two teams, I think they're quite even across the board. The Tigers, of course, found some form over the last couple of weeks, having had wins against the Hawks and also Sydney, and it was their hardness that stood out last week against the Swans, the Tigers, and something Danny FRAWLEY has certainly worked on over the last couple of weeks.
Well, let's say good afternoon again to Andrew Maher, who's boundary side enjoying the sun today.
Oh, it makes a nice change, Hutto. It's perfect right now. There's hardly a breath of breeze to speak of. It is warm down here. There is some cloud blowing in from out west, and there are some showers potentially forecast for later on the afternoon. Let's hope they miss us. Danny FRAWLEY suggested in that pre-game interview that Matthew Boyd was going to get the job on Nathan Brown. That's the mail we're getting as well. And I heard you talking about Matthew Richardson. We think it's going to be Bassett lining up on Richardson at the opening bounce.
Well, he's headed that way at the moment, and there he goes. Bassett down into the goal square.
And Ottens has gone down to the other end as well. And Ray Hall, of course, did the job on Barry Hall last week. Has a big job on Rawlings.
Matthew Croft lining up at full forward for the Bulldogs.
Ottens into the middle. In the ruck, he'll go head-to-head with Luke Darcy. There you can see some of the pushing and shoving already going on down there. Nathan Brown deep and being watched by Boyd. Centre bounce. We're underway at the MCG. Ottens is Brad Johnson hacking a kick out for the Dogs to start matters. Good spoil there. Across the halfback by Weller. Gives Bowden a chance, though he gets help. West already starting to accumulate the footy. Eagleton, he's been another high possession winner for the Dogs. Here's Johnson again. So bright start for the Dogs. Fluky bounce. Good one for the small forwards, and Hahn just couldn't make the most of what was a very big opportunity.
Clever play by Croft. He knew he was under the pump. He just brought the ball to front and square, which enabled his teammate to have a shot at goal.
Missed opportunity by Mitch Hahn. Greg Tivendale at fullback for the Tigers. That's what confronts him early stages. Big match at the MCG. Bowden came back into the side last week against the Sydney Swans. Just chips it short. Good kick, Fletcher. Off quickly to Chaffey. Now a chance for Gasper. Looks like he's lined up forward. He's got it just forward of the wing. Kick around the body towards half forward. The only player there is Darcy.
He's going to have to do that a fair bit today, Luke Darcy, particularly with the two key Richmond tall forwards in Ottens and Richardson up forward.
Boyd. Looks like he's got the job on Nathan Brown to Cooney. Just got there. Now Murphy normally uses the ball very well. Decides to use Boyd again, who under pressure just got his kick away towards half forward. It was a poor effort. Comfortable mark taken by Ottens.
So already we've seen a couple of kicking errors from both sides, and the Tigers trying to use it out wide. Gasper up the ground today, goes wide, and Hilton was off. McGuinness tries to trap him against the line. Did well in the end, put enough pressure on to force the kicking error. We saw it here last Saturday afternoon between Collingwood and Carlton. Plenty of kicking mistakes. And we've seen it already so far. Bulldogs using Boyd. He's Nathan Brown's man today. Harrison out wide, off the left. And now the Dogs can run. West through the middle. The bounce taken by GIANSIRACUSA. West, not a noted goal kicker, but makes great contact there and gives the Bulldogs a fine start. 1-1-7 the Dogs, and the Tigers yet to get on the board, Sauce.
Yeah, it was great usage by the Bulldogs. They had the ball deep in their defence, but they got players free. There was good shepherding by GIANSIRACUSA there. West was able to steady and get on that left foot of his, and that is a great first up goal.
Peter Rode in the Western Bulldog coaching box. Doing well early, the Bulldogs. 17 possessions to 7, 8 handballs to 1. Ottens wins this one. Chance for Kane Johnson. Good handball. Tivendale inside attacking 50. Oh, good strong mark. Greg Stafford. And he's going to present a problem for the Western Bulldogs. We just watched this again. The quick kick coming from Tivendale. And just too much strength and height for Ben Harrison, Greg Stafford, and a chance here for the Tigers for the quick reply.
Well, it's exactly what the Tigers have to do. Get it in nice and quickly. They got the tall timber up there, and Greg Stafford can catch a ball, particularly up forward.
Well, he's directly in front, and that's exactly what is in front of him. Kick is perfect. Richmond on the board at the MCG. So the Tigers, quick out of the centre, Steve, and the quick reply to what was a very good opening Western Bulldog goal.
Well, it's exactly how forwards love it. The quick kick out of the middle, and Stafford, of course, his height over Harrison is going to cause a problem. He played in front and was able to take that grab, and more importantly, kick the Tigers' first goal.
Danny Frawley watching on after Greg Stafford's third goal for the season. And the Tigers' first of the afternoon draws the margin back to just 1. Ottens thrusting it forward. He's been very good with the hit-outs for most of the year, but Johnson and Cooney getting busy with it. Same with Rowan Smith, who loves to accumulate possessions off half-back. This is Weller now for the Tigers, using Bowden, starting on the ground today after being a late inclusion last week and starting on the bench. Hilton, McGuinness back in the side for the Dogs, getting a feel for it.
It was well done by McGuinness. He had to get that ball over the boundary line as there were plenty of Tigers free further on up the field.
Steve, Chris Grant's got Gaspar and Harrison's got Stafford. I wonder whether Grant wouldn't be a better option on Stafford.
That is a chance, but I guess he'd just, I should say, Peter Rode would just test a bit of time with Harrison up in that defensive back half.
Again, a poor kick that time coming from Hyde. And the turnover could be another one here. West goes to ground, no free. Newman, the man pursuing him, and we're going to see a bounce again in the middle.
Interesting move though, starting Gaspar at centre half forward. I suppose I said at the in the preview that I thought he'd probably go back to his best position, try and get a bit of confidence. Interesting move by Frawley.
A change is always good for a player, and obviously Gaspar struggled a little bit this year.
Bowden just playing a kick behind the play there. Of course, he's up against his brother today. To centre half forward, here's Boyd and Brown. Obviously the Tigers pushing Brown forward, see if he can outpoint Boyd in the air. McGuinness took it with him to ground.
And we go back to Gaspar, Michael. I mean, the other thing is he might just be drawing Grant out of the way, particularly with the two other targets in Richardson and also Stafford up forward. So let's get Chris Grant out of the play.
Stafford palming down with purpose. West clears the path. Harrison still dangerous. Eagleton, he's got Grant nearby. He didn't really show much of a desire to get rid of it, and he was able to draw the bounce. No, you don't. Apparently.
No. If you don't have prior opportunity and get grabbed, you don't need to make an attempt, it seems. Jeez. One of the flaws of the new rule.
Campaigning early, Michael.
Well, it is one of the flaws of this prior opportunity rule. Grant just brushes the tackle aside. Harrison had more time than he thought, and in the end, as he coughed it up, no West, great mark. Really committed himself there, Scott West. Murphy. That's a poor kick from such a skillful player. Chance for Gaspar. Handball, Bowden. Yes, he gets around GIANSIRACUSA with a bounce. Wobbly old kick inside, attacking 50 at the back. Hilton. In fact, it's Nathan Brown. Just wobbled a bit off the boot of Joel Bowden, and Nathan Brown, good strong hands. We watched the Scott West mark, but a poor kick from Murphy has turned it over, and has given Richmond an opportunity for their second goal, and Matthew Boyd just not in the contest there.
Yes, didn't think the ball was going to go over the back. You just need to go with the opponent on that occasion.
Brown pops it through. Richmond have their second. So a good couple of minutes in the opening part of this quarter of the Bulldogs, but since then, Steve, it's been all Richmond.
Yes, and we just see this kick by Bowden. If you watch Boyd, he just stands at the back of the back, not thinking this ball was going to carry. And Nathan Brown took an easy mark.
Nathan Brown's been in sparkling form for the Tigers, and he started well again this afternoon.
So the Tigers will have the Bulldogs thinking at this stage. Boyd with the job on Nathan Brown. Out of the middle, Ottens again, trying to give them first use, but Tivendale went to ground, allowed Eagleton in. Here's Jade Rawlings' first chance for a mark, and he's very good when he's leading out, that's for sure. Takes the mark 75 from goal. Hahn makes the lead. He and Robbins, these small medium forwards today. Croft back in the square. Not sure about the option, very wide, and missed the target. Tiger bench, David Rodan, a late inclusion for Wayne Campbell. Darcy anticipating the tap down. He designed that beautifully for Eagleton, but there was no space. Fletcher just dropped it. Didn't have prior opportunity. Play on was the call. Johnson to Bowden, scrappy. Well, Callaway with a goalkeeper effort. Couldn't quite get it over the crossbar, but out of danger anyway and through for a behind.
Fiora got a long option. It's Joel Bowden, and he gets there. That was a great kick. Bowden towards the wing. Ray Hall's run very hard from half back, and he's away. Big chance here for the Tigers. On the lead, Richardson couldn't get there. Well done by Bassett, but at the fall, it's all Richmond. Brown from outside 50. It's all vacant goal square, but Murphy was able to get back and get a hand on it. Margin in favour of the Tigers, now 5 points.
Did it well, the Tigers. They brought that in from the full-back, the kick out, and really didn't have much problems in having a shot at goals.
And Essendon showed last night how effective that can be. It's going to be interesting to watch the Boyd-Brown battle, isn't it, Steve? As a forward, it'll be interesting to see if Boyd can cope with him in the defensive role.
Yeah.
Eagleton, been busy so far and been busy for the year as the Dogs control it out of defence onto Bowden on the wing, so maybe the Bulldogs can control it all the way as well. Out in front of Rawlings, Hall went for the mark rather than the spoil and did well at ground level. But he got some assistance, Rawlings, that came from Hahn and Rowan Smith.
Got Kearney free if he wants him.
Kept on running. He wanted him just for a moment. West was another option. But we know Rowan Smith is a prodigious kicker of the footy, so he might as well go back and have a shot. Hasn't kicked a goal so far this year. Probably does his best work on the run. 3 behinds for the year. Once kicked 42 goals in a season, Rowan Smith. So he knows how to find the middle, but not this time.
2-1 plays 1-3. Opening goal to the Bulldogs through Scott West. Tigers have controlled things ever since. Fiora marks the Tivendale kick, kicks to a vacant wing position. Good running from Fletcher. Cooney tested here. Well done by Cooney. Did he hold him too long in the tackle? Grant just touches it over the line, and we'll get a boundary throw in. Simon Fletcher. Cooney had just let go in time. Ottens works his way to the front, trying to get it down to Kane Johnson. Well done. Good desperation from Newman. Was he pushed in the back? No. Ball held in. Umpire, good umpiring, letting it go. Tivendale. Kane Johnson under pressure. Well done, Patrick Bowden. He's dragged it underneath Kane Johnson. He'll need to be lucky here. No, he's penalised, as he should be. Just dragged the ball underneath him. And the Western Bulldog players were quick to pounce. There he is. Needed to get it out. Kick inside, attacking 50. Ball at the back. Chaffee leads in the race for the football. Assistance from Joel Bowden, who's been very good early. Gasper all by himself at half back. Great kick in towards Hilton. Got to get round McGuinness and does. Kick across the body, almost the mark to Brown. Cracker in support. Concedes ground. It was a poor handball. Hilton, well, don't know what sort of kick that was, but he got it to Stafford eventually. Cracker, good pressure by the Bulldogs. Play on's the call. Boyd. They can't get it clear. Grant's got his head ripped off. No free kick. Still it goes. Hahn eventually scrambles the kick at best. GIANSIRACUSA marks it on the wing. Take over, Hutto, please.
Well, they finally clear at the Dogs. Plenty of numbers behind him. Now one runs through the middle. Rowan Smith links up with Scotty West. Has to use his wrong boot, which is much more proficient these days than it used to be. Rawlinson Hall. Again, the debris left in the wake. Coming through nicely. Hall recovered well. And the Tigers can mount something on the wing. Gasper's going from one wing to the other. He's finding the space everywhere. He's going to try and hit Richo. Neither he nor Bassett have had a touch yet. A handball from Hahn. And again, the Dogs linking up well here, but it's whether they can find the targets a bit further on that's been the problem. Now Darcy provides one.
As Robbins free.
Yeah, he's well loose in the pocket. Darcy took an eternity to spot him. Now he does. Still too far to score. Plenty of leads coming up the ground. He goes wide and great kick. Terrific vision. GIANSIRACUSA running parallel to him. Takes the mark.
It was good play, Steve, because the player in Chaffey, who was Robbins' man, was forced to go up the ground to try and man Darcy, so they had that loose player back.
Yep, and we just see Gasper getting a fair bit of the ball at the moment. The reason that's happening is that Grant is just dropping off him because he's so concerned about the other two forwards at the moment in Richardson and Otten, so he's trying to get back to support his fellow defenders, so Gasper getting plenty of the ball.
Daniel GIANSIRACUSA, 57 goals, 42 for his career, 2 goals, 4 for this year. We know he's got great skills, but just hasn't been using them as well as he would have liked so far this year in front of goal. So the Dogs have missed a few now, 1-4-10, and the Tigers 2-1-13.
Just need to hold them up here, the Bulldogs.
Chaffey finds Kellaway, back pocket. Nathan Brown now on the ball. He started at half forward. Some boos from Bulldog fans. Chips Ottens. Still inside defence at 50, Brad Ottens. A loose player inside the centre square. Hall. Now he was off. Good tackle from Bowden. Turnover. Eagleton. Now Robbins from the logo. Long Rawlings with the set. Couldn't quite complete the mark. And Joel Bowden's had a ton of it early on. Kick towards Weller. Stretches, but marks. Kick towards half forward. Johnson was pushed out by Hahn. And he'll get the free kick.
Only the second free kick for the game, this.
Joel Bowden, 8 possessions already. Oh, that's a great kick.
Joel Bowden actually playing across half back, Chriso.
He's had 8 possessions, Joel Bowden.
So what a return last week by this man. 7 out of 10 goals for the Tigers. 7 goals straight for someone who's had some difficulty during his career with accurate kicking. Let's see what he can do from 50 metres. Oh, it's a thumping kick. Oh, he's kicked it. Great stuff, Matthew Richardson. Well, Steve, I mentioned he's had trouble during his career, but 7 straight last week, and what a kick this was.
Yeah, fantastic kick. Actually, I thought he was going to kick him into the man on the mark. He ran up very, very close, but it was a great kick, and this is what Matthew Richardson does best. Nice, hard, strong leads, and we just saw how close he got to the man on the mark there, but a very good goal.
Set shots have been the key for the Tigers so far today, 3 straight. And the Dogs have managed just 2 behinds from set shots overall, the margin now. Here's 9 points. Saturday afternoon footy from the MCG. Bright start in fine conditions. The Tigers leading here. Eagleton, no room to move.
Nathan Brown at the moment is just, when there's a centre square ball up, he pushes into the middle and then pushes forward.
Cooney, the unlikely ruckman there. Boyd, Eagleton over the top. Now Boyd gets another chance. Bowden spears it in for Robbins. That was delightful stuff. And Robbins takes the mark.
It was a great kick, wasn't it?
Kicked 3 last week. Matthew Robbins up forward. 5 goals, 3 for the season. It's a tough ask from the pocket. Makes a pretty good fist of it, but alas, not good enough in terms of scoring a major. So it's now 8 points the difference, 1-5 to 3-1 as Brown kicks in and finds Joel Bowden, who's about to have his 9th touch.
Handball to Fiora. Centre half back mark taken by Ottens, well run by Fiora. Got it back again, and he's running across the ground. Now he's presented with a problem, doesn't know where to go. Thumps it long, and Bassett comes to meet it. Well played. Johnson getting that handball in the defensive 50 as he so often does. Transfers play. McGuinness now just dawdling after it, Kieran McGuinness, but gets a favourable bounce. Brad Johnson chips back inside. Rowan Smith kept running. Drills the pass. GIANSIRACUSA needs to go. Mate did very well to affect this ball. Cooney's kick smothered. Ottens. They've got numbers back, the Tigers. Kellaway links with Bowden. Fletcher, and now Nathan Brown. Good cooperative play. Long Richardson on the lead. Bassett did very well to keep with him. Now they outnumber them 2-on-1.
Good pressure.
It was. Cracker swoop on the loose ball. Hilton. Long inside attacking 50. Stafford and Harrison. Numbers, or a little fumble from Chris Grant, but they've got the numbers. And Boyd relieves the pressure for the moment.
Got Darcy through the middle. Dogs have got one on the overlap here.
Need to run hard.
Riding with him, Rowan Smith, trying to give some protection and some run. Now he links up with Bowden. Saunders to centre half. Up towards Brad Johnson. He's got to come from behind. Pretty good at doing that. Created the contest. But the Tigers have got strong legs, and Bowden is having the proverbial field day. His 10th possession. Make that 11. Now he gets help. And Newman's kick is long. And Kane Johnson it is that takes the mark at half back. So good signs for the Tigers. It's been a bit like a Telstra Dome game so far, hasn't it? From one end it's been bouncing to the other. And Nathan Brown providing plenty of headaches for Boyd. Confronted by West and goes short. Stafford. Richo makes his lead. He's got 2 to beat, so he has to handball all the way back to Kane Johnson. Ottens is deep as well. He waited and waited and waited. And finally Richo made his lead. So it's been a good positive start by the Tigers and Matthew Richardson.
Well, it has, and just looking at that Tigers forward line, the beauty of that piece of play was there were a number of forwards taking their opponents away from Matthew Richardson, so they were working for each other, and that's what they've got to do today, make sure that they work together and sacrifice a bit of space for each other.
Well, Matthew Richardson, what a big man he is now. He's put on weight over the off-season, but he still has terrific athletic ability. 7 straight last week. He did spray 1 that went out on the full, but this one from 50. He's got things working at the moment. Terrific start by the Tigers.
Great kick coming in from Kane Johnson. And Matthew Richardson, you know what he's been working on in 3 weeks' absence. Goal kicking has been absolutely superb in the last 2 weeks. Another great example from 50 metres. He's got 2. Tigers by 14 points. Some concerns for the Western Bulldogs, Peter Road. Matthew Richardson proving a handful. Stafford and Darcy tied up at Tivendale in space, is able to just saunter out of the centre square. Drills the pass in low. Oh, free kick is it? No. Thought there might have been a free kick forthcoming to Wattens. Big job that Ben Harrison has back there to mind the resting ruckman. Boundary throw in deep in Richmond's attacking zone. Another goal here as we approach quarter time would be very handy. Darcy caught behind Ottens, trying to get it down towards Cracker. Well done by Boyd. Smith, now West, they share it. Chris Grant running from half back with a bounce. Delivers to Bowden. Well done. Thought about. Playing the dummy to Cooney. Kicks it back inside the centre square. GIANSIRACUSA from outside 50. Long penetrating kick. Johnson lets it go. It's touched right on the line. I don't know, Steve, that Brad Johnson did enough there, just watching it.
I think it was Newman that might have just got his hand to the ball, but probably should have done a better job than that, Brad Johnson.
Beautifully judged by Bowden, who looks to be right back in form.
Well, he's playing on GIANSIRACUSA. That's his 12th possession.
Paul runs away, also doing some damage off half-back. Clever stuff by Cracker, who sets it up to full forward. He just gave it a bit too much air. Gave Bassett a look in. Well played by Boyd. They collaborate well out of defence. And the delivery to Bowden, who is providing a target. Mrs. Bowden would be delighted at this stage. Kicks to centre half forward. Hahn can run on. Gave to Darcy. He's within range. He just has to have the confidence to have a shot. Wrong-sided himself. Hahn's got the confidence. He's got the distance, but not the accuracy.
1-7 for the quarter, the Bulldogs.
And the Bowdens have had 19 possessions.
Mark taken by Kellaway. They've been wasteful, Steve, but most of their shots have come from outside or on 50 metres, so you can't expect your accuracy to be high when you're kicking from 50 metres all the time.
Well, the Tigers do very well. They put numbers back into their defence, so very hard to find a short option.
Numbers with the Bulldogs. Fletcher did very well. Murphy kept his hands free and then was able to wait to get turned in the tackle. Oh, Peter Street can't find the handle. Grant was taken high, no free kick. Chance again for the Tigers. Gasper towards half forward. Nathan Brown, good fist from Boyd. McGuinness couldn't take it. Cracker, brilliant. Wobbles it inside, attacking 50. Ottens couldn't quite stretch. Now a chance for Richardson. Bassett got a good bounce. Rawlings well in front of Hall, still can't pick it up. Now he does. Good kick under the circumstances and finds Robbins. You'd think the Bulldogs would love to get a goal before quarter time. They've kicked 1-7. Rowan Smith, again another chance from outside 50 this time. It'll land in the goal square. Darcy pushing, and he's been paid the mark. Well, from the side on angle, he gave a good old heave-ho.
I tend to agree.
The umpire was caught out of position, but the mark taken by Luke Darcy. In our commentary position, we're right in line with the punt road end goals. That's the angle that we've got. And Darcy, big push.
And you just see Rowan Smith there on screen. Cracker was a good 20 metres behind him, not offering him a chase, so had no pressure on him when he kicked that ball.
Difficult shot this for Darcy, as you can see, right on the boundary line. Only 5 metres, but he is in the left forward pocket. Across the face, 1-8. First quarter return so far for the Western Bulldogs.
Well, we know how much work they've been doing on the kicking, the Dogs. They had that horrible quarter against Port Adelaide where they kicked 1 goal 10 and 7-22 for the day. It really cost them any chance. They also kicked 13-19 against Collingwood and 12-15 against Melbourne. So kicking has proved their downfall on 3 occasions at least this year. As the boys mentioned, a lot of shots today from either tough angles or a long way out. Last minute of the opening term.
Important for the Bulldogs here, Steve, that the Tigers don't grab a last goal in this final seconds of the first quarter.
Hyde on the bottom of all that. (4-1 to 1-8). Perhaps the last meaningful play of the quarter. Kane Johnson just got a handball clear. Now Tivendale. Got numbers through the middle, one-on-one battles ahead. Fancies his chances with Richo. Bassett's fought back well in the last 10 minutes. Rowan Smith trying to get the ball to safety. And he does. Boyd, West. Only seconds remaining. Is there time for the Dogs? They're going to have to be very direct here. West again. He's got a fleeting chance. If Cooney moves it, you would think it's just about run out now. Unaware that the siren about to ring. Cooney's kick finds Bowden, who gets one more stat, a mark, but not a kick. to end a pretty entertaining opening quarter. Plenty of mistakes, but a very interesting battle. You can see by the scoreline, Sauce, that 9 scoring shots to 5. Inaccuracy has hurt the Dogs.
Oh, no doubt about that. Bulldogs were playing well enough to be in front, but of course their kicking for goal hasn't been great. But I think Danny Frawley will be relatively happy with his side, particularly the way his forward line is set up, working very well for each other. Matthew Richardson finding the ball, but also Stafford and Joel Bowden across half-back was exceptional.
Joel Bowden not happy, but the Tigers should be. They lead 4-1 to 1-8 after an opening quarter in fine conditions at the MCG. A good day to be a forward and come out and try and take a grab. Now the Dogs can run. West through the middle. A bounce taken by GIANSIRACUSA. West, not a noted goal kicker, but makes great contact there and gives the Bulldogs a fine start. Well, it was their one moment of joy in the opening quarter, the Dogs. Other than that, they were very inaccurate. 1-8-14 to Richmond 4-1-25. The Tigers, Matthew Richardson, right on target with 2 goals straight. And, well, he also caught one accidentally coming through from Bassett, but it's been an interesting week at the tribunal, as Brody Holland found out, for boots on head. So let's get down to the boundary line and catch up again with Andrew Maher.
Thanks very much, Huddo. Chris Bond, you just got to convert wasted opportunities that quarter.
Yeah, 1 goal late really hurts us. I think we had a couple of long shots too. I think we're going to just try and get the ball inside our 50 a bit deeper. So that's a bit of the aim of the boys now.
So that's the focus of the quarter. A bit more pressure on their ball carriers too.
Yeah, absolutely. Bowden really hurt us in that first quarter off half-back. I think he had about 12 possessions. So we've really got to make sure that we curtail him. But a bit of run through the midfield will enable us to get the ball a bit deeper.
Back to it. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Back to you, Huddo.
Thanks, Andrew. There's Jade Rawlings. What have you made of the opening term so far, Steve?
Oh, listen, I think the Western Bulldogs have had their chances. I mean, they have 9 scoring shots to Richmond 5. Obviously, they've had enough of the ball to put a decent score on the board, but I think both teams have had their fair share of play, but Richmond, just with their targets and where they're finding the ball inside their 50, have of course made their opportunities at goal a lot easier, and they've been able to convert on the scoreboard.
How do you assess the job done so far by Bassett on Richo?
Oh, well, they've probably had half a dozen contests. Richo's won a couple and Bassett's squared a couple where he's been able to get the fist of the ball. So another 3 quarters to go, and he'd just be trying to retain his presence.
Second quarter from the MCG. It's the Tigers 4-1, the Bulldogs 1-8.
Tigers, Nathan Brown pumps it inside attacking 50, but it's very wide. Kane Johnson can't control it, so a boundary thrown, but another centre clearance to the Tigers. Another goal-scoring opportunity. Matthew Richardson, a couple of goals in that opening quarter to follow on from his 7th straight last week against the Sydney Swans. Street, Stafford won it though, beautifully done. Chance for Tivendale from the pocket. He kicks across the face and just misses. Opportunity there, although it was a difficult one. Would have been a great start to the second term, but are behind only to the Tigers. Margin out to an even 2 goals.
Rowan Smith, 9 possessions in the opening term, but had his hands full as well with Andrew Cracker. Darcy had to fly from behind. He was sandwiched between 2 Tigers. Somehow, Brad Johnson wrested it out of them. And now gives Scotty West another touch along the wing. Hartigan from behind, couldn't get a fist on it. Robbins got GIANSIRACUSA at centre-half forward. Bowden playing off him. But, in the end, it slips through Hahn, who has to go in and get it again. And get it he does. Tries to lay it off. Inventive handball has been penalised. It's a pity for the Dogs as GIANSIRACUSA went on and kicked a goal. Mitch Hahn arguing his case. And the switch is made for the Tigers. Hilton and the loose man over the top, running out of defence.
Got numbers inside.
Chaffee swings it in. Here's a chance for Hartigan. Richo's going to make his lead now. Good looking kick right on the chest. Oh, how's that for delivery?
Well, Richardson had the entire 50 to himself along with his opponent there, and the beauty of that piece of play is that Richmond brought it inboard and Matthew Richardson had every angle to choose from where he wanted to present, and he opted to go up the middle of the ground.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Dogs can come up with something to counter that. They seem to be cooperating pretty well, the Richmond forward. So that's his third mark inside 50, so he's finding the space.
Plenty of space up there for him, and he's doing it very well.
And he's got newfound confidence in his kicking. He's got a technique that he likes. As I say that, he misses. His first one for 10 shots. 4-3 plays 1-8. Apologies to Matthew Richardson.
Rowan Smith. He's already accumulated 9 possessions. Oh, dangerous kick, but it got to West. Quickly gets it on Harrison. That's what he needs to do today. Run off the big ruckman, resting down in that forward line. Out in front of GIANSIRACUSA. Bowden got a favourable bounce and saw it over the line. It's still in. Well done by Grant. He sockers it clear. Another behind. 1-9 to the Bulldogs. Gee, I thought that was out for a moment, but must have just stayed in. And almost a miracle goal to Chris Grant.
Chaffee brings it in. Gasper's got to work hard here, and he just couldn't get in front of Bowden. So Patrick Bowden takes the short option. It was certainly a wide one. And it gives Jade Rawlings an opportunity to have a shot for goal.
Yes, and about 45 out. Once again, a long shot at goal.
Goes to lay it off, and Cooney was just surrounded by Tigers. And the Dogs missed another opportunity.
Well, we just saw the number of Richmond players that were in the forward 50 of the Bulldogs, and that's why they're not been able to find space and get the ball probably 30 metres out from goal, because there's such a congestion down there, so they've had to have shots from at least 45 metres out.
Street over to palm that one nicely to Bowden. Tried to measure the kick around the corner. Well played by Boyd, and Bowden found touch today, that's for sure. West, half handball. Found Eagleton, Murphy, West, all under pressure, but they managed to control it pretty well through the middle. Now Rowan Smith says go. Long to full forward. That gives the forwards a chance. Good spoil from Chaffee. Small men down are all Bulldogs though. GIANSIRACUSA had time on his side. Was able to size up what he had to do, but wasn't able to do it. And they miss again.
Yeah, it was a poor miss that. He got a perfect block by one of his teammates. Had time to steady and really slot that one through.
3 behinds to GIANSIRACUSA. Now Fiora tucks it under the arm. Couple of bounces. Confronted by Darcy. He breaks that tackle. Puts the ball on the ground. Play on's the call. Fletcher from half-back. Stafford. Harrison did well enough to get him underneath the football. Gets it back from Grant. Kicks it straight into Kane Johnson.
It's interesting, Steve, that Grant seems to be doing his loose man work across half forward, doesn't it? Getting in the road of the centre half forward rather than back on Richard.
Yeah, well, I guess that's where he's going to stop most of the play, trying to stop it across the half back line.
Boundary throw in. Brad Johnson, third man up. Cooney, little fumble. Was able to get it back to Johnson, but he's under pressure. The kick didn't cover 15 metres. West kept his composure at half back. Kick didn't match his composure. Boundary throw in.
It's a good composed error.
The Bulldogs kicked a point, was their first scoring shot. Then Scott West kicked their first goal. Since then, they've kicked 9 behinds. 9 consecutive behinds.
Still in the contest though. And they'll give away a free here. Stafford goes wide. Gasper in front of Grant. And juggles it nicely. And wants to go. Uses Fletcher. He's going to have to come back, is he? Play goes on. But I think it's got to come back to Gasper. Gasper's had plenty of it. 4 marks now, coming in for his 7th disposal. Ottens and Harrison, the targets. And there's a whistle, and it's a bit of holding off the ball. And it's coming back to Simon Fletcher. Richo makes his lead. Bassett there with him. They lock arms. Richo's too strong. Too big, too hard to stop.
Just wonder, Steve, whether Bassett's not better just staying off him a little bit. That ball just held up and he engaged in a wrestling match, whether just to stay off him, leap and try and punch it. Richardson, as you said, Hutto, just too big and strong.
And as I said, he's right on line with his kicking. He's got it all worked out. You're the full-back, Steve. What do you think of Michael's suggestion? Because one thing about Richard, if you play off him, he's got the pace to dart away in a lead.
Oh, listen, I think he tried to do the right thing there. There's nothing much he could have done. I was just watching the other Western Bulldogs players. There weren't too many going back to help him with much conviction there. They left him on a one-on-one contest where there should have at least been a player to get back and try and get a spoil in.
Tigers in control. They lead by 17 points, despite the fact they've only had 8 scoring shots to the Bulldogs' 11. Murphy scrambles it. Inside attacking 50. Darcy in front. Good strong mark, Luke Darcy. That's the advantage if Peter Street can hold his own in the centre square and around the ground, allow Luke Darcy to drift forward. And that's exactly what happened there. Good play from Murphy, just getting it long to the top of the goal square. And Darcy, too much height for Andy Kellaway. $11 goals for the season. And second on the Bulldog goal-kicking list behind Jade Rawlings. He pops it through. Much needed goal to the Dogs. I thought that might have been swinging late. I thought, oh no, don't tell me he's missed that, because gee, their kicking's been deplorable.
Well, it has. Lucky he kicked this from about 20 metres out, because if it was 25 out, it would have missed. But I guess that's the benefit of getting the ball quickly out of the middle and to a tall forward in Darcy, who's just having a spell up in the forward line at the moment.
Peter Street just got some instructions from West. His inclusion on the field has allowed Darcy to go forward and be the first or the second goal kicker for the Dogs, first of the quarter. Otten's farming it down and the Tigers away again. Cracker playing in front reaps the benefits. Turn, kick, and Grant got back in front of Nathan Brown. He's got Eagleton through the middle if he can spot him through the traffic. He does now. Hargraves just on the ground. He runs past away to his left, so does West. He might have to kick hurriedly here to centre half forward. Crashing the pack, GIANSIRACUSA, and Hahn just barges through and says that's the best way to make sure I kick a goal. I'll run straight to the line. Suddenly things are working a little better for the Dogs.
Yeah, and you just saw Nathan Eagleton there. He turned inboard, he got the ball on quickly, get it in long and direct, let the contest happen outside the goal square, and they were able to bring the ball down the ground, and Hahn did the rest.
Two goals in a minute to the Bulldogs. And all of a sudden, just 5 points separate these sides. Bounce favours Ottens. Try to get it down to Johnson. A chance for Weller, who's under pressure. Robbed by Murphy. Chance for Robbins. He gets a favourable bounce. Confronted by Bowden. Does well to get boot to ball. GIANSIRACUSA goes hard. Chance at ground level. Well done, Hahn. Now back to Murphy. Snap from the pocket. Oh, he's kicked it. Well, you can hardly believe it, can you? After missing so many opportunities in the first quarter and the early part of this quarter, they've kicked 3 goals in 2 minutes, the Western Bulldogs, and have hit the front at the MCG.
Yeah, it's quite unbelievable, but I guess it was a matter of time. They've really been peppering the goals. They've had 14 shots to 8, but Murphy, who's having a great contest against Johnson, and really is starting to find a bit of the ball in this second quarter. and he's a class act for the Bulldogs.
Well, it's great to see, isn't it? He did play on Nathan Brown in the Wizard Cup, but he's been released today. He had Hurd last week, and really starting to find it now. Had 2 bits of influence on that bit of play, and the Dogs are in front at the MCG. Johnson under siege, Eagleton. It's a really good contest now. Newman gets the Tigers to half forward. Harrison pursuing and just gave it too much. Makes the error, and the Tigers can capitalise now.
Need to get it in quick here. Got Richardson up forward.
Stafford going back for Fletcher, who unwinds. Right to the line. Look at Nathan Brown, Richo in the middle. Brown's just stalking at the back. Oh, it's going to be... No. Thought it was going to be a free against Patrick Bowden. Of course, all the Dogs will be trying to make Nathan Brown feel most welcome, being former teammates. Hasn't been anything nasty at this stage. Boyd still watching him closely. Again, West and Street trying to direct traffic. It's a dangerous area here. The Tigers right in attack. Stafford confident enough to grab it out. Gave it off to Kane Johnson, who answers with a goal. Oh, well played, Greg Stafford. An excellent conversion from Kane Johnson.
Yes, and we just saw his opponent just moments ago kick a goal at the other end, Kane Johnson in Murphy, but that was terrific play by Stafford. He's a big, strong man, and to be able to do that from a throw-in and get it down to one of your teammates is very valuable.
So, Tigers back in front. Great piece of play from Greg Stafford. Ottens gets a favourable bounce again. Oh, gee, the umpire getting right in the way. He got knocked 3 times there. Those players would have all been suspended last year. Eagleton, Bowden. Kick didn't get to West. Hahn, oh, West is on top of the football. Dangerous, but no, he'll get a bounce. I thought he may have been penalised.
He laid 3 hip and shoulders, the umpire.
Yeah, he did.
We'll get you on the rules committee soon, Chris.
Yeah, well, no, but it is. It's interesting because contact there 3 times in the space of seconds. Brad Johnson, long towards full forward, in front. Murphy, good fist. At the back, chance for Ray Hall. He needs to be precise. Fiora handballs it through for a behind. Good pressure from the Western Bulldog forwards. Tigers by 4 points.
Now Fiora. Penetration was good, but Chris Grant reads the play beautifully and ensured the Dogs got it to safety.
Well, he did well, didn't he? Disguised it, just worked it towards the boundary line.
7 possessions, 3 marks for Chris Grant, and 1 behind. Darren Gasper, also 7 possessions and 4 marks. Street just shuffles Stafford away. That was very clever from Newman. Kane Johnson having a rest across half forward. Gasper wasn't sure where the ball was. Gilby was though.
Oh, well done.
And he's kicked beautifully, smothered by Kane Johnson.
That's a beauty. Like, his handball wasn't great, missed the target, but just didn't stop and worry about the mistake. He did something about it.
Street again, beaten by Stafford that time. Tivendale got his arms loose. Newman a hurried kick. Rowan Smith fisting away. Important ball to be won here. Very lucky bounce and nicely read by Johnson. Gave it to Bowden. They're away. It's a pretty open forward line. Darcy's in deep. Will he go to him? He does eventually. Callaway from behind. Darcy through the middle. Gets good support though. The Tigers defence. Oh, Fiora. You want to get rid of it. He does just in time. Brown creative with the hands. Cracker and Fletcher try and sort it out. They had plenty of time to do that. Cracker eventually emerging. Onto the wing. The delivery wasn't great. Grant had to be careful. He did well. Dump Gasper. Hahn shuffles it forward. Tigers with the numbers. Eagleton in front. Chaffee comes in. Oh, Eagleton threw an arm in. And the ball over the line and out of bounds. 39 the Tigers, 35 the Bulldogs. 4 points the difference halfway through the second quarter. Hope you're enjoying Saturday afternoon footy from the MCG.
Stafford, well done by Boyd. Oh, he took too long in and the tackle. He dropped that ball, Matthew Boyd. Very lucky.
Had to be holding the ball, mate. Had to.
He had enough time. As we watch it again, there, he had the chance to handball.
Perfect
cracker.
tackle.
Johnson put the ball very quickly. Robbins has been good. Great handball under pressure. Hahn from 50. A driving kick going. He's put it through. The Dogs in front. Well, all of a sudden, after some very inaccurate kicking, the Western Bulldogs have hit the mark, and Robbins has been great. And what a kick from Mitch Hahn.
Yes, and I think that's his second for the quarter, but clever little handball by Robbins. And once again, the running through the middle of the ground has made the shot for goal a lot easier.
Western Bulldogs wrest back the lead. Street has done a good job in the middle, finds West. Suddenly they're in deep again. Murphy lurking down there. Fiora got a fist in. Bowden has been much quieter in this corner. They're under siege at the moment. The Tigers defenders. And ball up.
Just their pressure inside their forward 50 at the moment. The Bulldogs has just increased.
Been inside 50 11 times compared to 5 in this quarter. Murphy, the third man up. His old mate Nathan Brown got the clearing kick, but it ain't over yet. Clever play by Hall to keep on running and get the assist from Weller, and they're out of trouble, the Tigers. Alton's in amongst two Bulldogs. Play on was the call. Gilby's got some time here. Harrison wasn't sure where he was going. Made the right call. Gilby made it a little tough for GIANSIRACUSA. Playing in front, he just gave Bowden a look in, who played for a free but did it well, convinced the umpire. Gasper, one-on-one. Is that a free kick? Yes, it is.
Oh.
You weren't happy, Michael?
Correct call.
This is what I was saying earlier. The only chance Bassett's got is if he stays off Richardson with that long kick coming in and tries to jump and punch. He's not going to out-wrestle him.
He'd have to fall over to miss this one. Richo kicks the goal. Just! I told you he'd have to fall over to miss.
He almost, that's just great then, but just getting back to your point, Michael, we just see the free kick there. No doubt that was a free kick. I guess the concern is that Matthew Richardson has so much pace that when you do stand off him...
No, but I'm just saying, when the long ball's coming in like that, to be wrestling with a 50-metre kick, he's got no chance. Richardson has 4, and the Tigers back in front. What's been a very entertaining second quarter of football. Plenty of goals, plenty of flow through the middle of the ground. Not too much picking up, mind you. Here's another chance for the Tigers. Brown on the inside of his right boot. Tivendale got support from Gasper. Gasper's been important. Grant playing off him. Johnson finally gets it out. Hyde, high inside attacking 50. What will Bassett do this time? Tries to wrestle again, and Richardson screaming at the umpire. Boundary throw in.
Listen, it's not a bad thing to let the umpire know what's going on. As long as he lets him know what's going on, then concentrates back onto the ball, Matthew Richardson.
Opportunity here for the door. Streethead, Otten's around the head. No free kick. Hargrave on the ground. Oh, West is in all sorts of trouble. Just handballed in hope more than anything else, and finds the boundary line. Another boundary throw in Richmond's forward pocket. Tigers by 11 points at quarter time. It was a good comeback in this term by the Western Bulldogs after they trailed by 17 points. Johnson, a snap at goal, is offline. Margin out to 5 points. West, the leading possession winner on the ground. He has 16 for the Bulldogs. Patrick Bowden with 12, and for the Tigers, Joel Bowden with 13. Nathan Brown with 11.
Rowan Smith. Now, there is a chance for Hyde to come through there, but there was
Great protection by Grant.
4 dogs. Johnson through the middle, up to half forward. Robbins in front, but it went over Street's head. Didn't go far enough for Robbins. Callaway with the acrobatics.
Need to do better than that, Street.
Over to Weller, up to half forward, sets a task for Rodan. Gilby judged it nicely. And again, the ball rebounding from one end to the other. Making for a very entertaining contest at the MCG. Rodan coming in for Wayne Campbell, who just didn't come up with some trouble after last week. Gee, good spike out of the air from Stafford. Grant never really wanted to get rid of it, but certainly didn't have an opportunity. Hyde over the top. Tigers have still got SCHULZ and Roach on the bench, who haven't seen any action yet. Beautiful leap from Ottens. Gave the chance for Brown. Grant trying to barge through, and once again happy just to cop all the punishment. Force the ball up. Jade Rawlings gone missing. No, there he is. 5 points the difference. He's had 3 possessions for the day. Darcy over the top. Hargrave. West again generating plenty of ball for the Dogs. And Johnson carrying it through the middle. Got his old running mate nearby. Here he goes. Rowan Smith down to Darcy at full forward. In fact, it's Croft.
Oh, well done.
He at least created the contest. Stafford came in late for the Tigers. Hahn trying to steal it, but Chappie.
Stafford was good on that occasion.
So Darcy's been thrust back into the ruck. Up the ground as the Tigers now. Oh, kick was smothered. Murphy on Bowden. Well done. Loose ball. Croft brought it in for GIANSIRACUSA. Oh, open goal Becken, but again the desperation of Callaway prevailing for the Tigers. Hartigan hits his target at half-back. Johnson waited for it to bounce and sit up. Looks ahead. Ottens comes. Here comes Richardson. He has to double back as he went short of the Cracker. Cracker trying to get onto the right, then back onto the left. Doesn't know where he's going. Ottens wanted to unload. Brown still going backwards. Till Richardson came, and then on the bounce he had to trap it around the body. Couldn't get it back enough, and it bounces over the line out of bounds.
Is it time for a move on for the Bulldogs on Richardson?
Well, it's a tough call really, because I'm not too sure.
Croft maybe?
Croft might be underdone. He's just staying at full forward on and off the bench at the moment, so I'm not too sure how his fitness is.
Ottens goes in, picks it up well. West, there's another example. As we wait for a ball up. 5 points the difference. The Tigers in front.
He's had 6 possessions, Matthew Richardson.
Darcy back in the ruck.
Oh.
Eagleton came through it. Dogs fans thought it was too high. Tigers fans thought it was holding the ball. Umpire went somewhere in between. Western Bulldogs have only had 1 free kick for the day. They're averaging 15, and today they've had just 1. There's a holding the ball, I think, against Kane Johnson. Here's a flying snap, and off the wrong side of the body to young Hyde, and a behind. So the margin now, 1 even goal, 7-5 the Tigers, and 5-11 the Bulldogs.
Rowan Smith finds Gilby. It's been pretty good, Lindsay Gilby, since coming onto the ground. Rowan Smith will get it back. Thought about giving it to Murphy. Murphy wants him to come so he can shepherd Nathan Brown away. He does that and kicks across the ground. Darcy trying to find a way forward, the Bulldogs. Little push from Newman.
Free kick, you've seen it.
It was a little push, but it was enough. Free kick to Johnson. From outside 50, just bombs it up to the top of the goal square. Croft! I'm glad they didn't move him 2 minutes ago, Steve. From a Bulldog fan's perspective.
A little patience, Mike.
Well, Matthew Croft, who has battled away in the VFL, hasn't been able to get a chance in this side in his customary position of fullback with the form of Brian Harris, comes into the side and has played mostly at full forward today. from 5 metres. The scores are level. So the Western Bulldogs full-prack very well in this second term. Matthew Croft with his first of the afternoon.
Yes, and that was the free kick there. Almost a 50-50 that one, but we see Brad Johnson here. Always a lovely kick on the run, but the ball just dropping short and Croft reading it best.
"17 possessions and 1 goal has Scott West on top of the Telstra player rankings, followed by Mitch Hahn, who's only had 10 possessions but kicked 2 goals too. Darcy's also been influential. He's beaten in the ruck though again that time by Stafford, and it's the Tigers with another clearance. Fletcher to half forward. Cracker almost stole it from Bowden. Gasper's got away inside 50. Bowden wasn't looking. He was waiting for Nathan Brown to come running and kicking a goal to give the Tigers back the lead. Nathan Brown against his old team has kicked 2 and had 14 possessions. And I reckon he'd be pretty happy with his first half.
Yeah, great play by Bowden there. I believe once he took that mark, he actually released with the handball and got a block which enabled Brown to steady. Just watch that block there. Bang! Was able to take that extra step. Great goal.
So the Tigers, quick replay out of the centre. And lead by 6 points, close to half-time. Darcy, straight through the legs of Boyd. Second chance, Hyde. Gilby through the congestion, West. Loose player forward of the play, Eagleton. Kick inside, attacking 50, Croft on the lead, yes! So I mentioned he's been in the wilderness, Matthew Croft, but a chance here to kick his second goal in as many minutes and level the scores up again.
As you said, should be a full back.
Interesting to note, boys, Tommy Roach comes on for his first run today. It was 27 years ago, round 8, 1977, that his old man debuted at this ground against this opposition.
Gee, that's a fair stat. Thanks, Andy.
Good that he's done something for the day anyway, Andy.
Matthew Croft will kick from just inside 50. Well, you could see it there, missed by a long way. Did, however, scrape in for a behind, so margin back to 5 points in favour of the Tigers. 1 goal, 1 for Matthew Croft this afternoon.
Kick 5-4 for the quarter. The Bulldogs, that's a precision kick in. Ray Hall guiding it along the line. Simon Fletcher up for possession number 8. Happy just to go long to half forward to their tall forwards. Ottens Grant comes in to try and provide a spoil for the Dogs. And Hargrave it is in there, rolling around for the Bulldogs. Kicked 5 goals in the VFL last week, playing as a half forward on baller. Better known for his work in defence. Ottens again, a delicate touch. Bowden off the wrong boot. And Harrison marked it. It was already over the line, was it? No, he's paid the mark. Did that go 15? I reckon it went about 5 if you're lucky. Hyde trying to spoil Eagleton. Fluky bounce favoured Hargrave. In quickly. This is Faulkner on the ground. Had an impressive debut a couple of weeks ago with 3 goals and 11 possessions. A bit quieter last week, just the 5 touches and no goals. 30 seconds remaining. A goal here would give the Dogs the lead at the long break.
Just see Murphy to the side there. And Faulkner calling for the ball at the moment.
Kicks from inside 50, so the distance shouldn't be a worry, and it's not. The accuracy, however, is.
Tigers by 4 points. Chaffey at full back. He'll just have enough time to get his kick in. And it's been a very entertaining, certainly second quarter of football. At half-time, 6-13 the Bulldogs, so inaccurate kicking, but they're able to narrow the quarter-time lead that the Tigers had of 11 points, and they lead by just to 5 points at the long break.
Yes, it was 5 goals, 5 for the Dogs in that quarter, 4 goals, 1 for the Tigers. It's the Bulldogs versus Matthew Richardson and the Tigers. He's kicked 4, Richo. Entertaining game at the MCG. Welcome back to the MCG. The Tigers and the Bulldogs doing battle even in the half-time break as well. In the crowd, bit of anger and bad behaviour there. They've just got to stamp that out. It's a disgrace. Teams in position, ready to go. Andy Maher's ready for us on the boundary.
Yeah, conditions remain absolutely ideal down here. Had only 13 interchanges made for that first half of footy. It's an all-time low. No injuries to report. The medicos from both teams will be on half pay here today. They've had the quietest day they could ever imagine.
Thank you, Andrew.
Gasper has been pushed back to his full-back position on Croft.
Second half underway at the MCG. Brown's handball ineffective. There's a whistle though, and it's a Bulldog free. Brad Johnson claiming it. Kane Johnson walks straight over the mark. He's trying to man up and get in from behind. Boyd. Oh, waited that kick and just changed it beautifully, adjusted at the last moment. And GIANSIRACUSA within the 50 arc, and certainly within range, you would think.
Great ability just to be able to check your kick, and Boyd did that on that occasion.
Gee, it was loose checking, Sauce. He was standing all on his own from the centre bounce then, GIANSIRACUSA.
6 clearance too for Brad Johnson. He's had 15 possessions, but GIANSIRACUSA, 4 kicks, 3 of them have been shots at goal, and they've all missed. So he'd have his concerns here. You can see the task ahead of him. Nice run up, but he's pushed it away to the right. Bulldogs have kicked 2 goals, 7 from set shots today, and Daniel GIANSIRACUSA has kicked 2 goals, 8 for the season.
A lot of those shots have missed to that right-hand side. Gasper back in defence for the second half. He played at centre-half forward in the opening half on Chris Grant, roamed far and wide for his kicks. Kick towards Schultz, can't control it, but at ground level, picked up by Tivendale. Loose player, Ray Hall on the wing, delivers towards Stafford over his head. Chance for Gilby getting back. Bassett trying to apply the Shepard. In fact, Bassett ends up taking great tackle from Cracker. Stafford shrugs Harrison through Hilton's legs. Hilton fights on. Murphy pursues him. Concedes ground back to Brown, who chips back inside. Mark taken by Hyde. So the Tigers retain possession. Loose player inside the centre square. Fiora drills the pass out wide. Richardson couldn't quite hold on. Bulldogs with numbers. Gio Scrabiel kicked by GIANSIRACUSA. Got to Eagleton. Now Johnson's away. Delayed the handball. Bowden. Here's a chance for the Bulldogs. Kick towards the forward pocket. Croft just couldn't quite get there. And we'll get a boundary throw in deep in the left forward pocket for the Bulldogs. Plenty of pressure in that defensive half. Defensive 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Tigers couldn't make much of it. Now a scoring opportunity for the Western Bulldogs. Croft beaten easily by Ottens. Handball went astray. The fault. They can raffle at Richmond. Kellaway in a spiral torpedo along the ground, forking out what pace he's got. Can't pick it up. And the Tigers are able to bring it away. Tivendale towards the wing. Schultz gets away from Grant, gets the handball back to Tivendale, who kicks it long. Stafford the target. At the back, Darcy lending support. Around the boundary line, GIANSIRACUSA. We've got a loose player on the wing. It's Robert Murphy. Now he can set something up here, Murphy. Decides to bring it back inside the centre square. He's got numbers. Eagleton, can he pick it up? He can. Smith, struggle the tackle. Well played, Rowan Smith. Runs to 50. And wastes the opportunity. Rawlings was screaming for it, just metres ahead of the play. And under pressure, Smith could just score the behind as we look at the interchange bench for the Western Bulldogs.
Rowan Smith, another one who's having trouble with his conversion.
Been a fair few points kicked at this end. I think Richmond might have kicked 4 in the second quarter, and the Bulldogs kicked, I think, 8 in that first quarter, and now have kicked a couple in this quarter.
Smith's kicked 5 behinds for the year. Hasn't kicked a goal, I think, since round 10 last year. Darcy gets another chance. They're lining up for the Dogs. And first in line is Matthew Robbins. And maybe he can give them the lead. So Robbins, 1 behind for the day. Similar position. This is a little kinder, but his kick is just the same, away, astray, and it'll be enough to give you some grey hair, Peter Rowe.
It's not a good result, is it? 6-16.
No, that's a understatement.
Oh, it's not.
22 scoring shots to 13, and they're still behind. Fiora wants to outrun Croft and does. From half-back, delivers dangerously. Oh, good mark taken by Chris Grant. Smith. Now Croft will get to this one. He's outside 50.
Well, he hasn't got any options deep in the goal square.
He kicks towards the goal square. Johnson can't take it. Ball still in play. Oh, Faulkner tries to dribble it through. Can't.
Probably
scrapes it through for a behind.
Probably could have kept on running there, so
yeah, just didn't realise how much time he had.
Scores are level now. 6 goals, 17 to 8-5. Nathan Brown. Again, the Bulldogs have got the height and the numbers. Oh, terrific mark from Chris Grant.
And young SCHULZ is being picked up by Grant. He just can't afford Chris Grant to get across like that on a kick out.
Isn't it great to see Chris Grant having the confidence to fling himself around like that, as brave as ever. A long one from Darcy. Rawlings in front, played for the free, but in doing so, that's not a criticism. He just presented himself in the front.
Andy Kellaway just caught out there, Hutto, because he stumbled just as the ball was about to arrive, and he jumped up and made the error, because I think he was just trying to get back and make body contact and pushed Rawlings out, but just unlucky there that he just stumbled as the ball was approaching him.
They're seriously flat at the start of this third quarter, Richmond.
The Dogs have done all the attacking. They haven't been able to convert. Jade Rawlings, we know he's had his problems in front of goal this year. At the MCG, he's kicked 6 goals, 14 this year.
Just his 4th possession for the game.
So it would be a huge confidence boost here if Rawlings could kick his first of the day. And the Bulldogs players in the square clapping, but unfortunately that'll have to convince the umpire. 6-18 now. Of course, they kicked 7 goals, 22 against Port Adelaide. That was their end score.
6-1 inside 50 in this third quarter. Just underlines the dominance of the Western Bulldogs. And Richmond have had a lot of trouble getting it out after the Dogs score a behind. That's a kick intended for Rottens. This time they've got numbers at ground level. Johnson, Chaffey, well done, Darcy. He ran down the kick. And they're able to tie it in.
There it is, the inside 50s this quarter, 6-1. I think they've kicked 1 goal, 13 at that end of the ground, Sauce, for the day.
Yeah, they're having problems down this end.
Ottens gets to the front. Boyd falls over. Chance for Bowden. Now Chaffey off a step. High towards the wing. SCHULZ this time in front of Grant. Oh, he was taken down unnecessarily and illegally. Spilster cracker. Here's a chance for the Tigers. Fletcher comes to bounce off his chest. Brilliantly picked up by Gilby. Concedes ground back to Murphy. Can he find a target? Just sets it up. They need a contest.
Oh,
they
well
get
done.
one. Well played by Bowden.
That's good pressure, isn't it? Bowden just forced the spillage there, and the ball is held up in the Bulldogs forward 50.
The Bulldogs in front by a point, but they've had 24 scoring shots to 13. Otten's straight to Boyd. He tried to get the handball, rifle-like, back towards Croft. Johnson somehow got it back to Hahn from 50, off a step. Oh, he's kicked a goal! Oh, hang on. Well, our broadcast position, we are right on that line, Steve. That looked through to me. Steve?
I'm with you, Chris.
Gee.
I'll back the umpire.
Yeah, typical.
Through the middle. The Tigers repelling, and suddenly they can launch an attack. Callaway measured the pass to Richo, and how things can change quickly. Richo lining up for goal to give the Tigers back the lead. So here he comes, Matthew Richardson, 5 marks, coming in for his 7th possession. From inside 50. He's got 5, and the Tigers are in front again.
Well, it's incredible, isn't it? The Western Bulldogs have absolutely dominated this third quarter, and Richmond, in their only 2nd entry inside 50, are able to kick a goal. Matthew Richardson has kicked 5 goals won. He's kicked 12 goals won in the last 2 weeks. And here's a look at that goal we thought might have been made. Well, we might have to eat our words there, Steve, because it looked very close to the post before the defender touched it. Our argument was that the defender touched it behind the line.
Last time I'm backing you up, Chris.
Darcy wins it out. Johnson just had to reach for the football, which held him up. Now a chance for the Tigers. They've got numbers. Johnson was barreled by Darcy. Cracker. Joel Bowden. The Tigers away. Long penetrating kick. Mark taken by Fletcher. No. Bassett has been under siege all day. Just handballs to the boundary line and gets away with it.
Simon Fletcher just couldn't hold on to that grab. Looked like he had control of it.
Well, gee, it was close. And the umpire there, and that's the argument for 2 umpires, because he was
in
a long way.
Yeah, perfect position.
The Dogs bring it out. Eagleton draws Cracker, pops it over the top to Harrison. Eagleton kept going. Promising attack this from the Bulldogs. Where does he go next? That's the big question. Inboard, Smith couldn't get past Bowden. The turnover, SCHULZ. Got loose players now. One of them's Richardson from outside 50. He loads up, wobbles at goalwood. It's across the face, through 4 behind. So 5 goals to the tally this afternoon to Matthew Richardson.
Strange old third quarter. Gilby with the job, full back. Got Harrison in close away to the left. He dangerously just poked it down the middle. Brad Johnson's been giving the Dogs plenty in this quarter, for the whole match in fact. His 19th possession out onto the wing. Hahn to centre half forward. From behind Rawlings and from the side. Stage right, Andrew Callaway. Chaffey, wobbly, one to the wing at best. Well, that's a good grab.
He had Otten's free, and Otten's is letting him know that he was free as well.
Hahn through the middle, plenty of Dogs roaming on the wing. Gilby a couple of bounces, launches to full forward. Croft with 3 to beat. Rawlings just banged it onto the boot. It's still in. Robbins, unbelievable kick. Is it a goal? It's a mark. He's paid the mark on the line to Bowden.
Oh, dear me.
Surely that was over the line.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm with you, Chris Hahn.
Oh, dear.
Well, there's his angle anyway. course, in the Wizard Cup, he'd be directly in front of goal. It was an extraordinary kick by Robbins. We had a great look at it from our angle. But anyway, here's Patrick Bowden. He can give the Doggies back the lead. They've only managed one goal at this end for the day. Good-looking kick. They're in front again. And Bowden has his first goal of the day, 14 possessions. Here's another look at it. Oh, almost in the crowd.
He was in the first row when he marked that. He's robbed the goal of the year. Well, let's have a look at this remarkable kick from Matthew Robbins, and there's Bowden marking it. Now, that is at least half a metre behind the line, you would think. I think the goal umpire has robbed Matthew Robbins of the goal of the year. The Bulldogs get a goal in any case, and they're back in front at the MCG. Cracker working hard. Altons can't get a handball clear. Murphy wrapped up, bounce.
The important point to be made there, if there was an error, is obviously that Bowden could have missed the shot, and also that it could have been a Richmond player taking that mark. So it was a pretty crucial mistake to be made, if it was a mistake.
I'm going with the goal umpire.
Altons down, but only player there is GIANSIRACUSA. He thumps it long towards half forward. Contest. Good fist from Hall. Hyde, Bowden got it away quickly and needed to. Tivendale, but the Dogs' pressure's enormous. West just gave it up. Hyde, now they're away, Richmond. Joel Bowden was fantastic in the first half. 3 bounces, drills it short. Richardson. 21 possessions this afternoon for Joel Bowden. And he just cut the Western Bulldog defence open there. Had enough time to get onto the left boot. And his delivery was precise. And Matthew Richardson, who's kicked superbly all afternoon, he's kicked 5-2. Chance here for number 6 from directly in front, 50 metres from goal. He's kicked 6. What a game by Matthew Richardson. First game last week after missing 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. He kicked 7. Halfway through the third quarter, Steve, he's got 6 on the board already.
Well, playing a great game, but good play by Joel Bowden. He was probably entitled to have a shot at goal, but he just popped a little kick in front of Matthew Richardson, who was able to convert for his 6th goal.
It's Richo versus the Bulldogs at the MCG.
Time for a move, Steve?
Richardson 6 goals, 2.
Okay.
6 marks inside 50. Plenty of them are pretty hard to stop though. Down the middle, Hahn getting the ball from the clearances. The Bulldogs getting it in deep. Croft, who's at the front, ready to rove. Robbins couldn't get on board. Callaway, handball. Gasper, Hall. They're lining up through centre half back. Bowden, Kane Johnson. Tigers to centre half forward. Tough one for Brown to mark. Well played, Boyd. And well done by Gilby. And again, they control it. Rowan Smith, delicate kick. Touched off the boot. Murphy couldn't ride the bump. Handball turnover. Good tackling on Cracker, but he knew where he was going. Now Tivendale. Got Hilton free. Bowden, 23rd possession to half forward in the direction of Hilton. Flew, but couldn't take the mark. Hahn to half forward. Loose man is Patrick Bowden, having a field day, the Bowdens. Rawlins moves. Kick just had a bit too much on it. Ball with the spoil, but the spoil's going to Murphy, who just rode the tackle and showed no inclination whatsoever to try and get rid of the ball.
Well, he did it well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He didn't do it that well just a few moments ago, but this time, no prior opportunity, so that's the right thing and held it in.
A little unlucky not to get around the neck either.
Stafford. And there's Eagleton. He's had 16 possessions as Cooney decides to have a bit of a fight with Chaffee. So many numbers, big cluster of players around the ball. Bowden, just when he was finding a path through, free kick conceded by the Tigers at the ruck contest, and it goes to Big Stafford, who's quick to move it. High. Dangerous handball. Set up Tivendale. Grant came in. Boyd. Bodies flying everywhere. Good tough contest this. Scrappy, but very interesting to watch. Tivendale on the break. He's got players everywhere inboard. Again, Bowden. Long kick to full forward. Extra numbers with the Dogs. And Darcy takes the uncontested mark. And he's got the man running. And guess who? It's Brady Johnson on the wing. And he can bolt.
He plays on. Looks for a target inside. Faulkner, dropped by Stafford. Faulkner tries to crash his way through. Great tackling.
Oh, well done.
Still a chance here for the Dogs. Patrick Bowden had more time than he thought, but he kicked one anyway. The Bulldogs back in front. Well, it's goal for goal at the MCG. A very entertaining game of football. And Patrick Bowden put the Dogs back in front.
Yeah, and we just say great. Stafford was a player there that probably should have taken the grab. He was looking straight into the sun, but Faulkner just got to force that ball out to Bowden, who was able to get onto that right foot of his and slot through an important goal for the Bulldogs.
Tough job in the coach's box today for both Danny Frawley and Peter Rode. Darcy. Johnson's been magnificent in this quarter, out of the middle, couldn't get on the end of this one. He's had 7 clearances for the day, Brad Johnson.
Yeah, it's just opened up in the middle. All the on-ballers seem to be playing their own game at the moment. Not too much one-on-one football in there.
Murphy and Hyde having a bit of a push and shove. There's Hargrave gone on to Matthew Richardson. Certainly outsized in an enormous way. He'll be tested very soon because the Tigers turned to surge forward. Ottens couldn't control it though. And Gilby, trusting his skills to switch play. The chest of GIANSIRACUSA was the target. Now Bowden, who's creating plenty of havoc across half forward. Kick was half run down. Eagleton had to go back to Bowden. Faulkner makes a lead. Back to Eagleton. The Richmond players weren't even watching. So Eagleton gets a chance to fumble and get his way to the pocket. Left the footy behind. Newman dumped to ground. Fiora cleans up. Now Brown can take it off half back. And the Dogs really miss an opportunity. Kane Johnson along the wing. High ball to half forward. Grant and SCHULZ. And the ball is over and out.
Joel Bowden having his first spell of the day, boys.
24 possessions, 7 marks, and it's been one of the Tigers' best. Particularly that opening quarter. Stopped everything.
Jade Rawlings coming off for the Dogs and Peter Street on, so no doubt Darcy to go forward.
Bolton's in front of Harrison, gets it down, sharp by Murphy, he's wrapped up in the tackle, so...
Stafford's just pushing forward at the moment, knowing that Street probably defensively isn't great in that area.
Half forward for the Tigers. Ottens, brilliantly done to Johnson. He sets Brown away from outside 50. Nathan Brown, a thumping kick. Just offline. Behind to the Tigers, so the scores are level at the MCG.
Scotty West just back on the ground. Gleefully accepts the pass from Rowan Smith. 17 possessions for Smith. Johnson turning up his 21st, likewise for West. Now onto the wing. Let's have a look at the ground level skills of Luke Darcy here. Gets some time and uses his teammate West, who kept on running. Croft is the target, but plenty of Tigers in the line with courage. Callaway goes back to Fiora. And out wide, the loose man created. Ray Hall strides away and goes long and strong. Street's got to get a spoil on. He did in some sort of fashion. Ground level ball. Kane Johnson. High was the call. He plays on. He handballs. Gives it to Brown, who's a goal kicker. And he goes to work and nails one for the Tigers. And that's how much they lead by. A goal as Brown kicks his third.
Well, just a quick handball here by Kane Johnson. Brown was always lurking on that trusty left foot of his, and he does it so well.
Tigers by 6 points. They led by 11 points at quarter time, by 4 at the half. And now by 6. Their biggest lead of the match was early in the second term when they led by 17 points. It's been very tight all afternoon. Street decisively. Johnson under pressure around the body. Fiora leads in the race. The ball just eludes him there, but he just brushes past the Cooney tackle.
It's a poor effort by Cooney.
Gaspar. GIANSIRACUSA going backward. A good mark taken by HARTIGAN. Play on's the call. Stafford, little fumble. Comes back though. HARTIGAN's been paid the mark. Off to Brown, who picks up another possession. Brilliantly picked up by Tivendale on the half volley. Wheels onto the left boot. Schultz in front of Grant. Uses Chaffee. Drills the pass in. Richardson. Couldn't take it at the back. Hilton's got plenty of time. Around on the right boot and just misses to the near side. Richmond lead now out to 7 points. And Rory Hilton behind.
So it's the Tigers' turn to have the momentum at the moment. Out to a 7-point margin as the Dogs try and be precise to find their way out of trouble and get to half back. Harrison, the link in the chain, he's got Street up on the wing. He goes into the middle, flirting with danger, but well executed. Hahn takes the mark. Runs onto the left and a shocking-looking kick. A real mongrel. HARTIGAN takes it and might make them pay here. Johnson going wide. Hyde back to Tivendale, who's got a lethal left boot, and it was beautifully done to Ottens. At full tilt, he takes the mark, just within range, if he really gets hold of the kick.
Well, skill errors hurt the Bulldogs last week against the Bombers, and that effort by Mitch Hahn could really make them pay.
Kane Johnson's having a rest for the Tigers while Fletcher comes onto the ground as we watch Brad Altons, who's had 9 possessions, 4 marks, no score so far for the day. 4 goals, 2 for the year. Certainly not going to score a goal with that kick. Has to satisfy himself with a behind. So the Tigers, 11 goals, 9.75, and the Bulldogs, 8.19.67.
Close to three-quarter time. Another goal here for the Tigers. Very valuable. Smith. Dangerous kick. Tivendale slipped over. Grant keeps his arms free. Well played. And finds Harrison on the wing. Then Harrison to half forward. Croft and Gaspar. Well, Croft pushed over. No free kick.
Just the last 5 minutes or so, it's where they've been falling down at the moment. This is probably right call by the umpire, but they've just been struggling to find a target across their half-forward line, the Bulldogs.
Stafford. Johnson at ground level. A couple of seconds to pick it up now. West. Hoiks it high inside the centre square. Smith's set a task, but he's up to it. And he takes a very good mark. Wants to play on quickly and does. Just dumps it long to the top of the goal square. Croft in good position. Got rid of Gaspar and gives away the free kick. What do you think, Steve?
I'm not too sure whether that was right. He was just protecting his space, Croft.
Goes short to Cracker. Got some options through the middle. He'll want to swing it inboard. And he finds Fiora, who's been pretty good. He goes onto his wrong side here. He had to go by hand. Another fumble. Sure hands are going to be so important in the last quarter. HARTIGAN backed himself, went wide, chiseled the kick out. And that's beautifully judged by Chris Grant. He's played some quarter. Swings it out wide, and the Dogs can try and work the loose man. Harrison through centre half back. Will want to release it. Doesn't probably know there's only 30 seconds, but he must know time will be against them here. So out wide for Hargrave, who's run off Richardson. Got nothing. I think they're going to have to bring Rawlings back on the ground because they need another link in the chain across centre half forward. Croft tried hard there, got held without it, but not according to the umpire. It was a tough call, and the ball is over and out. So 14 seconds remaining, and time in possession. Dead set level. Can they do it in 13 seconds, the Dogs? Good fist from Stafford, but it does give Hahn the chance. Can he find someone to take a mark? No, West goes backwards, and the Dogs are going to run out of time. The ball in Chris Grant's arms. So at the end of that, the Tigers won the quarter. The Dogs certainly had plenty of the footy early on, Sauce, in that term. Didn't make the most of it. Richmond deserved their lead, probably.
They do, and I'm sure Peter Road would be very disappointed with the way that quarter fell away. They were dominant in the first quarter. They failed to put the score on the board, and really halfway through that third quarter, Richmond turned the tide and they started to use the ball and got the score on the scoreboard. But really, the Bulldogs are going to win this game. They just need to convert on the scoreboard, and that's one facet that Peter Road will be telling his players at three-quarter time.
One positive for the Bulldogs today has been Chris Grant, as he's returned to form in great style.
Target inside, Faulkner, drop by Stafford, Faulkner tries to crash his way through, great tackling. Still a chance here for the Dogs. Patrick Bowden had more time than he thought, but he kicked one anyway. The Bulldogs back in front.
Well, that was then. This is now. They trail by 8 at three-quarter time. They only managed 2 goals for the quarter, the Dogs, despite the fact that they dominated early. So Richmond led by Matthew Richardson, 6 goals, and Nathan Brown, who's had 3 goals and 23 possessions. Certainly, well, they're in the box seat going into the last quarter, but who knows as we check the fresh legs of both teams.
Yes, and we just see the fresh legs here for the Bulldogs. Hargraves, Street has played a little bit of ruck work and also gone forward. Young Fortner came onto that forward line, gave him a bit of spice up there, but with McGuinness as another defender and also Gilby, a midfielder, so plenty of run there for the Bulldogs.
And for the Tigers, a couple of runners there, Roach and Rodan, with limited game time along with Hartigan. So you imagine the Tigers will be able to run out this final quarter extremely well.
And down to Andy Maher on the boundary.
Yeah, thanks, Hutto. The only injury concern for the Tigers seems to be with Luke Weller, who's got a heavily strapped right thigh and or hamstring. We can't ascertain which one it is at this stage. Sauce, I heard you talking about Adam Cooney in that quarter. Real lack of intensity about his running through the middle of the ground. He's had little impact. He was blowing up really hard halfway through that third quarter. Couldn't get to contest. So I see he's going to start this quarter on the bench. They need something out of their #1 draft pick.
Andrew Maher on the boundary line this afternoon. There's Weller making his way to the bench. And we're just about ready to go. All right, off the fence, Sauce. Who's going to win?
Well, I think the Bulldogs, if they can just kick straight, really, just get the ball in there, play long and direct, but also have a bit of a defensive game. I think they lost their way a little bit halfway through that third quarter where they just stopped picking up their opponents. So if they can get back to winning the footy and putting a bit of pressure on their opposition, they're a good chance to win.
Bit of merry-go-round stuff going on as the Dogs try and work out who's going to start inside.
They've got 5 in there.
Gee, flirting with danger there, Brad Johnson.
Last quarter from the MCG, it's the Bulldogs going in against the Tigers. The Tigers taking in an 8-point advantage, but the Dogs surge forward. Eagleton, he's a big roost of a kick, right to full forward, well placed for Hahn. Mark not paid, and Gasper gets the clearance away for Bowden, who confidently got the ball onto the left because Brown was already to scoot away. Glides along the wing and delivers well for Hilton. Kept on going, Brown. Hilton, though, makes the switch. Going short for Cracker. Smith couldn't get a fist in there. Cracker hasn't scored, but he's had 11 possessions and 4 marks. Sets it up for Richo. Got 2 to beat Stafford. Coming through Harrison. And he's got the loose man on the wing, Eagle. Then he better watch out. Charging through was Callaway. Got fist to it. And now Schultz gets his chance. Back to Johnson. Tigers out wide. Callaway goes for Richo. Punched out of his grasp.
There's a poor option there. He had Stafford at the top of the square. and he's opted to go for a shorter pass to Richardson towards the boundary line. Needed just to put the pressure on the Bulldogs, go to the top of the square.
Tigers deep into attack. Street gets it down. Smith. Good handball through the congestion to West, who finds Gilby. Another chance here for the Dogs. Eagleton. Just forced to stop in his tracks. Now we go out wide. West, they link it up again with handball. Gilby, oh look out, he's in trouble. Johnson, just they get away with it. Long towards Hahn. Fiora can't take it. Darcy at ground level. Kellaway will fend off into the face there of Mitch Hahn. Still it goes on. Darcy's got another chance. Loose player. Murphy from 20 metres kicks a goal. So after what we thought was a mark by Mitch Hahn a few moments ago, the Dogs were able to get it down. And G. Kellaway perhaps unlucky not to get a free kick there, but good handball from Darcy and Murphy. Good finish.
Bit of fight there by the Bulldogs. They held the ball in there. Darcy was able to get the handball out to Murphy, who kicked that goal. Good fight.
So the Dogs get the first one, and it's back to a 2-point ball game at the MCG. Street over the top of Ottens. West got one in the back from Brown. He did, said the umpire. And Scotty West comes up for possession number 27. Peter Street pushing forward away to his right. The lead comes from Rawlings, goes over his head, longer for Darcy. Ottens got back. They created a contest. Rawlings just couldn't handle it. Fiora dived to ground. He's on top of it. And the umpire going for a bounce.
She looks a little out of sorts at the moment, Jade Rawlings.
Matthew Croft on the bench. Bassett, of course, had the job on Richo. Ottens, all the Tigers behind the contest. And they were able to be safety in numbers. Cracker suddenly confronted, but he had a couple of Tigers on the wing. SCHULZ. High ball. Richo outside the 50 this time. Hargrave. Was that a free? It was. Advantage paid. They all stopped in their tracks, but Richo kept on going, and he kicks his 7th and celebrates in style. 7 goals for Matthew Richardson. The Man Mountain is doing it for the Tigers at the G.
Yeah, well, great effort by Matthew Richardson, but the advantage was paid. Every player stopped. We just saw everyone stop. Richardson just kept going, took advantage of it, and was able to kick his 7th.
Can't blame him, Sos, can you?
No.
Well, they all stopped. I think Matthew Richardson even looked back to see whether the umpire had called them back. 5-1, the Dogs lead in centre clearances from half-time, but it's not doing them much good at the moment. Chance for another one. Oh, well done by Ottens. He just wrestled the ball from Murphy. Long to half forward. Good fist from Harrison. Ground level, Hilton. Going back to the pocket, SCHULZ. Well done by Chris Grant. Geez, played a game. 6 marks and 12 possessions for Chris Grant. Did very well in that dangerous situation. Tigers by 8 points. Another scoring opportunity here. Street. Janser, Hartigan. Snaps it back. Play on call, not 15 metres. Well, Street tried to thump it to the line, didn't get there. Cracker, Hilton. Just misses, near side. Margin out to 9 points. It's been so tight all day. Job ahead for the Western Bulldogs.
Nathan Brown, number 1 ranked player in the Telstra rankings, 24 disposals, 3 goals, 2. And Richo, 7 goals, 2. 7 marks, 10 possessions. Rowan Smith, Peter Street, the target. Ottens over the top. Scotty West at ground level, desperate. So too is Kellaway. Good movement of the ball by the Dogs. All sharp handballs. Harrison got it to Bowden. Oh, he tried to switch play. He had Johnson out of the corner of his eye. Play goes on inside the 50. Robbins on his wrong side. Eagleton and misses. And that is the story of the day for the Bulldogs right there. 9 goals 20 to 12-10.
Richmond. Fiona's got it in the back pocket. Chaffee kicked it to him and gets it back. Top of his defensive goal square.
Plenty of numbers for the Tigers.
Kane Johnson. Robbins stands the mark but allows Kellaway to get away. Long towards half forward. Not too much of a target there. Ball bouncing close to the line. Gilby will pick it up just inside and does very well just to get it over. So a boundary throw in left half forward for the Tigers. 8 points the Richmond advantage. Greg Stafford has been very good today. Posed by Street. Brad Johnson tries to knock it to Murphy. Hard up against the line. Just handballs along the line and over. And as we look at Adam Cooney getting some work, hasn't been a great day for Adam Cooney. Stafford again. West draws a player. GIANSIRACUSA confronted by Chaffee, but West kept running. Well played, Scotty West. Can he find a target inside 50? Big leap at the... Oh, Darcy dropped the chest mark in the end. Now a chance for Faulkner. Robbins has got a loose player in the goal square. Oh, that's ignored. Gee. Has he kicked a goal? Oh, he has! I thought that was across the face.
Never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Well, I was just so shocked that he missed that target because he had a loose player going to the goal square. There's the Darcy drop mark. Faulkner did well, and this is the kick from Robbins. And never in doubt, they say. Well, the goal umpire went a long way to his right, and I thought he'd missed across the face for sure. I'll get back into my hole.
Well, this is the goal from Robbins that had a few of us flummoxed, but it went through the middle, and the Dogs...
I don't know about the middle.
Well, anyway,
I won't ever be a goal umpire.
2 points the difference at the MCG. Time for the big guns of both teams to step up. Scotty West, 31st possession. Probably not his best ever. It went very wide. In fact, gives the Tigers a chance to get an attack going. Chaffee, also a poor kick.
If he switches this, they got numbers everywhere, Bulldogs.
Boyd, the first mark for the quarter, the Bulldogs. GIANSIRACUSA suddenly confronted, but he was able to back his pace and get away from Cracker. He tread some water for a while until he found an option. Now Eagleton at his best would come close from there. He goes for home. Stafford's right back deep for the Tigers. In amongst it, Darcy. Faulkner waiting down. Play on. Newman was the one that kept on going, and his persistence pays off. He delivers for SCHULZ. GIANSIRACUSA couldn't keep his footing or get the ball. Eagleton's hands weren't quite what he wanted. Gilby, Bowden, and the Tigers were more committed. They won the footy. Dogs have got the numbers here, but Alton's got the mark and the ball. Suddenly it's a chance for Richo again. Hilton had to go to him, and he did. And Matthew Richardson lines up for number 8.
Good work by Otten, Sauce.
Yeah, well, he had to take the grab, but also I thought it was a poor effort by a couple of Bulldog players on the wing there. They just needed to hold the ball up. They didn't fight hard enough, but the Tigers were able to get the ball to Richo.
Matthew Richardson kicked 8 goals against Footscray in 1994. And 10 years later, he's done it again. Well, Robert Walls has been saying for years that one day Richo will come out and kick 14 goals. And this could be the season, because I tell you what, he's looking in great shape up there, Sauce.
No, he is. He's got all the space in the world. He's got a good understanding now with Brownie and also Johnson, and he times his leads to perfection and did it on that occasion as well.
What a game from Matthew Richardson. 8 goals, 2. He kicked 7 of 10 last week against the Swans. He's kicked 8 of 13 today. And is unstoppable at full forward. Street, wide of the play. GIANSIRACUSA ducks the head. Doesn't use Murphy, decides to do it himself and kick to Rawlings. Oh dear. Jade Rawlings has had one of those days. Murphy. West slips over. Oh, nothing going right for the Bulldogs now. Ray Hall gets it from HARTIGAN. Long inside attack in 50. Richardson again! Well, that could be it for the Bulldogs. Jade Rawlings dropping a civil chest mark. West falling over. Comedy of errors.
Just watch this. Watch Richo just feel for his man. Just hits back on his opponent, which just enabled him to hold his opponent out.
You'd have to have 20 kilos on Ryan Hargrave.
Richardson. He's kicked 8. Now he's kicked 9. What a performance by Matthew Richardson. 9 goals, 2. The Tigers by 14 points.
Well, that's the drop mark by Jade Rawlings, and the ball is rebounded up to the other end, and Richo was able to kick that goal.
The Tiger fans singing with gusto and joy at the MCG, and all for that man Richo. 9 goals he's kicked, single-handedly destroyed the Bulldogs. Still plenty of time for the Dogs to get back in it, but they need to act quickly. Oh, SCHULZ, well played, coming in up the line. Suddenly they're buoyed with confidence. Nathan Brown for Hilton. Get it in. Just pops it over for Tivendale. And Matthew Richardson in the goal square says, have a shot, I'm exhausted.
Brad Johnson coming off the ground after that tackle.
Here's the Johnson incident.
Oh.
SCHULZ. Cooney comes onto the ground. As Tivendale lines up. 5 goals, 3 for the year for Greg Tivendale. Kicked it behind earlier today. Richo again's in there. Peter Street drops it. Richo trying to get it on his boot for 10, but he couldn't. And you can't begrudge the Tiger fans some joy after their miserable start to the year. Boyd goes short and gets GIANSIRACUSA.
Half back, kicks to Darcy. Hasn't gone off the mark, so goes back. Now he's got Peter Street in the middle of the ground all by himself. That's ignored. Decides instead to kick short to Eagleton. Missed an opportunity from 20 metres in this quarter. Boyd. Dangerously close to the line, but marked just inside. By Rowan Smith. Chips over the top. GIANSIRACUSA's got it, decides to play on. Kicks to the top of the goal square. Bowden needs a mark. Can't take it. Ryan Hargrave, little fumble. West fighting hard as he's done all day. There's a free kick. Where's that going? Go to the Tigers. Nathan Brown.
Cross gone under Richo. Let's get to Andy Maher. Johnson was properly on the right ankle, boys. He's trying to run it off.
Nathan Brown coming in for possession number 27. Squares it out wide. Gasper. SCHULZ marks. Dropping back on Chris Grant. Kicks towards half forward. Andy Callaway's run very hard. He's got it on attacking 50. Drills the pass. Richardson is unstoppable. Third opponent, Matthew Croft. But some of these leads and the kicking from the Richmond players to Richardson's been fantastic, although Croft did have a bit of a look at that. Well, could this be number 10 for Matthew Richardson? No. In fact, can he scrape it in for a point? Yes, he does. So the tally now, 9 goals, 3 for the champ.
The last Tiger to kick 10 goals was Jeff Hogg back on Mother's Day in 1991.
Who was that against?
Not sure. Collingwood. Beautiful back. There's the short kick. Oh, they've turned it over. Richo for 10. Yes. Oh, he's done it. You are the man. Matthew Richardson. He's a superhero tonight for the Tigers. Oh, they absolutely love him, fellas. They love him down here.
Well, the sad thing is that they haven't always loved him, Sos.
Oh no, but just great to see this guy play well, because he takes a fair bit of flack over a season, but when he's on, and he's been at his absolute best tonight.
First 10-goal haul since round 17 in 1999, and that was achieved by Wayne Carey. So the first in almost 5 years at the MCG. Fletcher scrambles it forward. Boyd comes to meet it. Well done by Hilton. Cracker on the loose ball. Kick forward by Richardson. The party hasn't stopped yet. Gee, what a performance. Chris Hyde, the kick was just perfect.
Have they done enough, Sauce, to stop him, like putting blokes in front of him?
We'll just watch him kick this.
No, he's kicked that across the face. Ball still in play. Contest. Darcy can't control it and knocks it through for a behind. So margin 23 points.
Just getting back to your question, Hutto, I mean, it's really tough to stop. You just can't have one focus on one player, and that's been the beauty of the Richmond forward line setup. They had Ottens and they had Stafford up forward. So basically, Grant in that first quarter had the concentration of those.
It's a set play. He's kicking points now, so he can mark the kick-ins. Richo. Oh, he kicked into the man on the mark. Only Richo could do that. Over to West. Through the middle, he had Hahn away to his left, but he wanted to go long. They need a mark. Robbins, does he take one? He obliges. The umpire has paid the mark to Robbins. They need a goal. There's still time for the Bulldogs. 23 points. It's unlikely. They definitely need a goal here. Tough call. Matthew Robbins, kicking a goal, has proved very costly today, and he missed it. Brad Johnson back on the ground.
Chaffee, Kellaway. Dangerous kick. Ottens though judged it the best. Fletcher. Hilton at the back. Good mark taken in front by Johnson. No, not paid. Gilby fighting hard along with McGuinness for the Bulldogs. Johnson has it, and eventually we get a bounce at half forward. Kane Johnson a bit disappointed. A free kick coming back to Gilby. Or is it to Brad Johnson? No. Right the first time. Gilby. To the wing. Schultz going back, did very well on Murphy. Brown. Well done, Nathan Brown. Schultz tries to break the Boyd tackle. Put the handball away. Hyde got it back to Brown to Schultz. Long towards half forward. Richardson leading in the race for the football. Croft did well, just applied enough pressure to get the ball over the line. But what a match from Matthew Richardson. 12 marks, 16 disposals, 10 goals, 3.
Throw in just outside 50, 6.5 minutes to go. Can the Dogs do something? We're going to see more Richo magic. Boundary throw-in gives him another chance after the Bowden kick. Bowden certainly returning to form. 27 possessions, had a slashing opening quarter.
Of course, started the game across the half-back flank. Now it's been pushed to the midfield.
Stafford more than happy to see it back over the line again. Last week, Richo 7 goals out of 10 for the Tigers. Today, he's kicked 10 out of 15. So he's kicking about 2/3 of their score. Darcy. Cracker.
He's had a shot there.
Richo's kicked 25 goals, 6 for the year.
And he's doing it all in a very flash pair of boots, mates.
Gilby kicks into the outer side, but Ottens, they've just killed off the spirit of the Dogs, haven't they?
They certainly have. Ottens inside attacking 50. Hilton, oh boy, did well to get a hand on that football.
Very disappointing kick there, really. The crowd all wanted him just to kick it to Richo.
Yeah, just watching Richo, he's just telling his other teammates to get out of the forward 50, give him all the space in the world.
Well, they've obliged now. He stands alone in the goal square. Harrison just going back to fill the hole. Stafford reaches over the top, knocks it forward. Johnson uses Harrison. Now to Smith. Dogs try and work it out through handball out of the defensive zone. Eagleton doesn't know where to go. Smith. Quick little bounce, only ran 3 metres. Darcy chips out wide. McGuinness runs onto the loose football. Wants to draw a player and does. Rowan Smith kept going. Just dumps it long towards the top of the 10-yard square. Well done. Good pressure coming from Newman. He's able to fist it away from Robbins and a rush behind to the Western Bulldogs.
Highest score of the year for Richmond. And it's only the 3rd time in 22 matches that the last 22 matches they've got over 100 as Chaffee kicks in. And they're full of confidence now, pulling down marks everywhere. Hall out onto the wing. Cracker. Richo makes his move. And still he goes and slides in for another one. Oh, he played on. What did he do that for? Gave it to Hilton. Kick was smothered. That's his first handball for the match.
And Croft has come off the ground, and Matthew Richardson has his original opponent at the start of the game.
Was it worth
Who was
considering
Bassett?
Was it worth considering Jade Rawlings at any stage to go back on him, his brother-in-law?
Yeah, or consider anyone.
Fletcher shovels it out. Tivendale. Very short again. Bowden sets it up. And Richardson doesn't fly that time. The ball over the line and out of bounds. It's been an amazing relationship, hasn't it, Richardson, to the Tiger fans and the joys and the sorrows of the Richmond supporters over the journey. The highs are very high. The lows, we know, are pretty low. But boy, has he turned it on for them today. And it's been great to be here and be a witness to the occasion.
Yeah, I guess the other option they could have probably tried on Matthew Richardson was Chris Grant, but he just stemmed so many, I guess, attacks and provided some drive off that half back line of the Bulldogs.
Darcy and Ottens. Here's Darcy trying to find a path. Hahn. Nathan Brown will be their other hero, won't he? He's had a very consistent season, and he'll be particularly pleased tonight doing the job he has today. 3 goals to 29 disposals against his old team. Ever kicked 10, boys?
No. Stephen?
Just the once.
Just the once.
I'll let everyone know now he asked me to ask that question.
He's been asking for 20 minutes. I didn't think you were going to do it.
I've been asking for 3 seasons.
Smith, good kick. Mark taken by Chris Grant. Just chips it to Boyd. Good run provided by Bowden. Now he's got a loose player inside the centre square. It's Murphy. Sweeping handball. McGuinness runs to 50. Loads up. Will land in the pocket. In fact, it won't land in the pocket. It'll land in the first row.
Just taking a call from Tony Lockett. Steve wants to know if you've ever had 10 kicked on him.
I actually had 10-8. All on me too. All a learning curve, Anthony. You'll appreciate that.
Good fist from Hall. Stafford. Now Tivendale. Richmond finishing this game full of running. Greg Tivendale cuts in board. Through the centre circle. Good chase from Faulkner. It was a good chase because it calls the turnover. McGuinness, and he's got Smith running in support, doesn't use him and should have. Shocking kick. Chaffee, Bowden. Bulldogs players have stopped to a wall.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
Long towards full forward. Schultz is marked deep in the pocket.
There were 3 Richmond players on their own in their forward 50.
And then Peter Road will be disappointed with this last 15 minutes because the Bulldogs probably up to 3/4 time deserve to be in front, but they really let it slip in the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Believe it or not, boys, Richo just gave Greg Tivendale a little spray for not giving him that first pass just before.
So taking plenty of time, Jay Schultz. He's had the 9 possessions this afternoon. Off the long run, just pulls his kick and chips it almost to the goal square. Ground level, it's all the Bulldogs. West, now Smith. Unloads with a torpedo. Little push coming from Hargrave. He's got to be about 5, Ryan Hargrave. He does pretty well to tie it up, force a bounce between wing and half forward for the Tigers.
Can't be long now. Been a great day for Tiger fans at the MCG. Darcy letting some of his anger go on the footy. West, number 1 possession winner on the ground. He's 34th. 35th, in fact, takes the Dogs out to the wing. Faulkner, Hahn, still trying to break a few tackles. And the Tigers will be in the 8 tonight, boys, which seemed inconceivable, didn't it, 3 weeks ago?
It is a remarkable turnaround.
Danny Frawley, the super coach.
It's great for Danny.
It is.
Great for Danny.
And just shows what 2 absolute quality players can do in Nathan Brown and Richo. Not to take anything away from his teammates. Bowden returning to form today, which is another positive. This is Newman as the Tigers advance. I wonder if there's time for one more Richo special. We might just get an opportunity here. No, Boyd. Turnover, Schultz. Had a good last quarter. He might go himself. He does. And he misses. Richo looks like he might be... Oh no, he's just going back in to take his position in the zone. I thought he might come off the ground just to get the standing ovation.
Yeah, well, the runner is out to him.
Darcy along the line. Bassett up to Brad Johnson, who trapped it well into the space, and Chris Grant, who's gone forward. A belated move by Peter Road, perhaps one they could have tried earlier, or as Sauce said, perhaps he could have gone onto Matthew Richardson. He's been unstoppable today though, Matthew Richardson. And there it is. Congratulations to Danny Frawley and Richmond without Wayne Campbell. And congratulations to Matthew Richardson. 10 of the best. What a sensational performance. You never know what to expect with Richo. But boy, when he's hot, you want to be in your seat at the MCG. Chris Grant's going to have a shot for goal. But there'll be a very vociferous version of the yellow and black. It's already being chanted around the MCG, and that about sums up the Bulldogs' last quarter. Let's get down to the man of the moment, the man of the match. He's the man.
Thanks very much, Hudson. That was a bit of fun, Matthew. That was great stuff.
Yeah, it's a good win for us. We've won 3 in a row now, so looking back at a few people who wrote us off a month ago. So yeah, we've stuck together and we're pretty happy with how we're going at the moment, but we've got to keep it up.
We're not interested in humility and you being humble right now. That was a magnificent individual performance today.
Yeah, I'm just happy that when I'm getting a chance to kick him. I've been kicking him the last few weeks. It makes a bit of a difference for the whole team, obviously.
Are you doing anything different with your kicking routine?
Oh, not really. I had a month out with the hamstring, and even though you couldn't run, you can get out and kick goals, so it probably helped me a bit.
It must be nice after everything you've been through physically that you can still be playing career best footy.
Oh yeah, look, I've always said if I can get out there, I know that I can play okay, so hopefully the body holds up.
And mate, 3 in a row, you are on a roll now. You're back in contention, you blokes. It's remarkable where you were 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, we got 2 tough games coming up, Port, I think, and West Coast on the road, so it doesn't get any easier.
Oh, it was great watching today. Thanks for that. Back to you, Huddo.
Yes, what a performance, Stephen Silvagni. He kicked 2 goals in each of the first 3 quarters and then 4 goals in the final quarter. A blistering last quarter from the Tigers where they really did finish full of running.
Well, they did, and I think Matthew Richardson, I watched him carefully early in the first quarter and really didn't get much of the ball in the first probably 15 minutes of that first quarter, but he worked hard and he got the desired result at the end of the game.
Yes, a good win by the Tigers. They led by 11 points at quarter time, by 4 at the half. And a goal that the Western Bulldogs will be disappointed with. The Tigers still won the 3rd quarter and they were 8 points in front at 3/4 time. And as I said, they finished full of running and have defeated the Western Bulldogs by 23 points at the MCG.